Oh,
how beautiful are you?
Woo! Okay.
It's coming up to me.
What time we got here,
everybody.
baby? Oh, we're live.
Zip's in the house. Zip's in the house. Bring
Yay,
it on
Zip!
home. Welcome, everybody, to the Happy Oyster Show. I am your host, Bart Burke, and we have Skipper T in the house.
Hey, good morning, everybody. Happy Saturday. Good to see you.
It's a little chilly today.
It's freezing.
It's May the what? May what?
Oh, it's May 4th.
It's May cold is
Feels
what
like
it is.
February 4th.
We got Freddie the Angry Bayman in the house. A little smile out of there, Angry Bayman today. He's doing all right.
He's always doing great. Don't let him kid you, viewers.
Yeah.
Don't let him kid you.
So did I tell you guys what a pain in the neck it is streaming live through the laptop opposed to here? Please, guys, hit us up, subscribe if you like what you see.
We're close.
We're getting closer and closer. She'll be updating up that later on. Today's show is sponsored by Netminder. Alex Walsh was over last week. We'll have a little recap of what's going on with that and the effectiveness and the possible cost savings of this product for your farm. Talking about employees, employee utilization, labor force, one of the biggest costs of running a farm. We got some other new stuff going on. Netminder is a non-toxic reduced biofouling paint that you can put on your gear. It sounds really cool. And there are some barrels. We also got some barrels going on. We got a lot going on today, that is for sure. TJP is in the house. Tony Joe is freezing cold outside.
Let me call you.
You can back this up and do this around here like that. Get in it. There you go. Yay. Back up maybe a little bit.
You didn't even look. Sorry, guys.
Right.
It is what it is.
How is our audio? Who we got in the house? We got Johnny in the house. We got Zip in the house and Alan in the house.
Keep riding this, Zip, in John Baca. Great.
We've been talking about our subscribers and doing whatnot and baby pictures. And if you've been following our Instagram, you've been seeing some of our great stuff that we've been doing. Tony Joe, our Instagram followers are
620.
Thank you so much. Please come on over to our Instagram channel and subscribe. And our YouTube channel, which is getting ever so closer, inching. Thanks to all of you guys and everybody subscribing and whatnot. And so that maybe we can go back to filming with the cell phone. We're trying to hit that 1,000. And we are right now currently at
907. 1,000 allows us to stream from our phones. It's a new policy with YouTube, so we're almost there. 93 more subscribers on YouTube, and we have our regular
back in
filming
business.
Back and not this laptop stuff.
Yeah, not the laptop stuff, which is kind of a pain. I didn't look at last week's. Did you look at it all last week's at all? Did you look at last week's? You did. Okay, good. I didn't.
So I wanted to see how it came out, with
I didn't have chance and whatnot because there was some other stuff that's that we need to send over to Alex in regards to the Netminder paint. All right, so back at you. Netminder paint, awesome stuff. Little review, labor costs. The number one cost in your farm or my farm or anybody's farm, aquaculture is going to be labor. You can get the seed for relatively cheap. Cost of goods is really very little. It's just the labor that it takes. And then it's the gear that you got to put in. That's number two. So you got labor and you got gear. And it's whatever you can do to minimize the amount, how to make the gear, how to utilize the gear, and how to prepare the gear. What? Freddie the Angry Bayman's over here laughing.
No, the labor is free.
Right now, no shit. The labor, labor. What cost involved? Mamma mia.
Yeah, but.
But nothing. Freddie, have you seen a paycheck?
Don't even add it
Have
up.
I seen a paycheck?
Don't even keep a running tab on the labor.
This is
the end of business before we start.
I guess we turn around a little bit over here. Freddie's over here.
No.
the labor right now is zero because there's no cost because nobody's getting paid.
Yeah.
All right, so we are out there floating everything for whatever it is. We call it funding because that's the way you're supposed. You can't call it
Funding,
losing money or spending money.
Funding.
We're on our second. We're on our second year of funding this year.
We're gearing up.
So
We're seeing a dollar sign somewhere.
there is
product.
there is a light at the end of the tunnel, but it is a never-ending labor of love, to say the least.
The other thing too that's going to be huge is fuel.
Fuel is also
Fuel is going to be on the list for sure.
now. If we're talking about doing some numbers, and I'm talking about numbers, $1 million would be a lot, and $1 million is kind of my goal for within the next 3 years, being able to produce $1 million.
Next time shit goes in the water, I say.
And Freddie says the next time around, meaning 1 year from right now, we'd be sitting on a possible million plus on the farm, which is definitely a possibility. We are gearing it to the point that, it comes down to the cost of and maybe the manipulation of the seed itself and coming right down to little baby size seed, which is what we're working on with barrels and whatnot. We've been playing with plastic, learning a little bit about plastic, how to deal with plastic, how to melt plastic, how to weld plastic, how to. More on that in a little bit. We got our netting, and thank God brings us to our first thing. And Freddie was right. Freddie wins on this one. Freddie doesn't win on all of them. Freddie won on this one, and we'll talk about. I think it's a possible loser of Freddie's. But our ice eater motor, our old ice eater motor that we kind of drained out and put new fluid in, and it works good in the bucket of water. We got it down in the drink and put it in the thing, and they plugged it in and dead. The other one was dead. It was constantly blowing a fuse, so we didn't use that one. Again, 2 used pieces of shit that I should have known better, and I should have kicked myself in the ass and said, Bart, what are you doing? So I went to Powerhouse. They're reading away there, T. We went to Powerhouse. All right, here comes up. You got a camera up now. We went to Powerhouse. Came in the box. This is what they look like. They make for fountains, aerators, and ice eaters. They have a special 3/4 horse. Oh, this stuff is heavy. Brand new with a 100-foot cord. Just came in yesterday or the day before.
2 days ago.
2 days ago. Haven't had a chance to put it in yet because the weather's been so shitty. I bit the bullet. Again, another little round of funding, another $600, cha-ching, to your door. Makes a great product. We got a 2-year warranty. We now are pretty much maintenance free in terms of this.
Well, we'll see how great a product is once it gets put in place and we use it.
Yeah. Oh, I know it's going to work, though. I know it's going to work.
All right.
We're not reinventing the wheel here with this FLUPSY idea. Powerhouse, new FLUPSY motor, got the brackets, the deal, the bump. The old motor shit to bed in 2 days or less. That's what Fred said was going to happen. Moving on.
3 days.
It didn't last that long. Yeah. Let's open up the door. Well, I'm kind of working on a buoy here. We're working on getting some numbers on our brand new sneakers. I'm putting some guidelines in here to put in here to be able to put our DEC number going here. If you look outside, you can hardly see. Maybe lift it up a little bit. The whole laptop, so you can see our meth lab that we're getting started with out here.
Lots of
Oh, you could have walked around.
Oh, good. I have a right foot.
Yeah, you do. We were dealing with some old barrels and whatnot, and it got to the point we need to make some half barrels so that they're only so high because they go into the. Anyway, make a longer story. Stay tuned on that. We're working. We bought brand new used barrels, and it had a bio degradable cleaner that was in it. We've washed them out, rinsed them out. They're not totally.
Let Go sucks. We got a beef with Let Go.
We got Fred can get into that about that. But anyway, we got six identical barrels for short money. Come on in.
Where'd you get these barrels?
Freddie, now I'm going to turn it over to Freddie the Angry Bayman about the story of the barrels and where we got them and how we got them. Frederick, let her rip.
There's an app called Let Go, and I think it's probably United States wide or worldwide. I'm not sure what their scope is, but Let Go is like, if you got nothing to do, you can go on Let Go and you can look at all the junk for sale. It's like a gigantic yard sale. So anyway, you punch in 55-gallon blue plastic barrels, and Let Go site comes up, and they're for sale all over the place. People recycle them from where they work or wherever they get them, or steal them or whatever. We don't really care, but
they probably get them from work.
They probably get them from work because they're probably
for free,
especially in a toxic environment, because the workplace probably has to pay to get rid of them. So they take them home. So anyway, they sell them on.
Well, it's a food. Usually, there's some food preparation, and that's usually what it. The cleaner is used.
This stuff is for cleaning. So anyway, you go and Let Go, and you punch it in, and all the blue barrels come up for sale. So then you look at the websites and you decide what's closer to you, where you want to go and buy your blue barrels from. So then
they're doing it for the privacy thing, Fred.
Yeah,
Fred, you can't find the bottom line. We can't find out where the hell to get them. We're in Patchogue. Whereabouts in Patchogue? They give me the exact address, and
they show you a vague thing on the map. They don't.
He was losing it.
They don't drop a pin. They don't drop a pin on the map on the address. They show you a round gray circle and it's in there somewhere.
Or you just had to hit. Are these still available?
Right.
That was the button, and then they're supposed to get back to you right away.
Right.
No phone number. No where are they? None of that stuff.
So after a half an hour of doing bullshit research on both of our phones, we finally came up with.
Waiting for the guy to call us back is really what happened. And they did. He called us back. I thought we were going to drone right in, but it didn't happen that way. Ortez. My man Ortez. He hooked us up.
But anyway, he told us where his house was in Patchogue.
Oh, he's in Patchogue?
Yeah. I used to live right there, so we went down. We found his house. His barrels were in his backyard.
We got barrels.
We made a deal with them. We loaded them up, and we went down our merry way. But I mean, it's an inconvenience.
The process is
an inconvenience.
Now, mind you, these brand new barrels, blue barrels, they're at the tops on them.
$85 a piece.
Brand new.
Right.
Brand new. All right, you're going to have to come in a little tighter on that tee because I actually cut this out. So our first step, the barrels came like this. First step was we give them a little rinse, and then we cut out the tops. This is the first step, is what we did. We cut out the whole shooting match, bada bing. Get the idea?
Sorry, guys. All right, go for it now.
You got me. Bada boom. The top came out. We did that with a router. I'll give you a little quickie on how that worked. It worked out real well. The router had the fence put onto the router, put it onto here, and spun this around. Worked awesome.
We're going to cut the bottom.
Nice and clean. The bottoms are going to have to get cut out as well, but we're going to make a little bit of a modification to it. If you could pull that pool noodle behind there.
What?
The pool noodle.
Yep.
Pull that out.
Yep.
Other barrels that we've had from different places are not cut as good as we can cut them.
Yeah. So now this is what they did on some of the other ones. Well, now we're going to utilize this, and you'll see what we're going to utilize this with and how we're going to utilize it. We're going to get a couple of them. We need to get a case of these.
Ocean State.
The fat bottle. Okay. The next time around, I need a case of these, please. Handle that. We could tie wrap them together and put them in there. Instead of using the polystyrene discs, we're going to use the pool noodle. It will float that barrel, no problem. If that damn thing can float me at 210, it can float the barrel, no problem. And it's going to allow us to be able to look down inside of the barrel while it's floating. So if you got a nice high-powered flashlight, you can stick it right in there and really get a good look at them. You get the idea.
I think you should make. The hula hoop out of the pecs and stick it inside the pool noodle and jam it together and make a permanent ring.
That's a great idea. That was a really good idea that Freddie just had having it, because that way well, whatever.
Well, once you figure out the size, you can figure out exactly how big it has to be.
Now, we got the pecs and the netting is going on top. We did some of that before. But the debate is, how far of a lip are we going to leave? Now, I've cut this with a fat lip, and they're all this fat. Get in there a little tighter. Can I tell you what a pain in the ass it is filming with a laptop? All right, so here's that lip that I'm talking about, from here to here. You see that lip? All right, now hold it right there, Tom. Don't
Gotcha.
And it's just
It says what?
Now, this one's a little different. You can see I cut this one back even a little bit more. Again, it's all about getting the flow right, and so that the oysters don't get caught, and that we have enough gook in the glop that we use in here to seal that, and how we seal it. All right, we can go back now. It's critical, and that's what we're really, really refining right now. And I've looked at other guys, and we've got some other ones that we've kind of we've done and we've fixed, and they're doing pretty good. But we put this glop on from Freddie. This is one that Freddie could be wrong on.
well,
This could be a wrong move by the Frederick.
Well, you know,
Trial and error.
Yeah, but I cooked up a whole shitload of barrels, Tony. A whole shitload of barrels with this cook that Freddie had.
Well, you know what? That tube has been laying outside for like 3 years.
Now he tells me. He says, try it out. So he did, and then I should have. Oh, yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah,
Keep
I think
going
we'll be all right. I think what we're
It's
going to do is
get hard.
it's coming up on a week, but the weather has been rainy and humid and nasty. Now, maybe that has something to do with it. It's pretty hard on there, but it's not.
No,
it's not
totally cured.
It's not 100% hard. This screen, we might be done with this screen before you know it. We might not even be using this screen anymore until the next round of 500,000. But we got a whole bunch of ones that are out there. But anyway, we're working towards that. That was where was I? Barrels. Screening.
Show them how the pecs fits in.
Go.
The peck?
Oh, the ones that we did already.
The pecs is on the table.
Oh, the pecs. Yeah, we got different colors of the pecs.
Come out there. Am I going to be okay?
I'll come to you.
Wi-Fi.
Here's one that we got to get flex seal on the inside as well. This is a 2 millimeter mesh that we've got. Almost everything is being retained right now that we have is retained on this size mesh. More about what size goes onto what mesh. The gook, again, this is the Freddie gook. It's hard, but not hard enough. We're going to cook up the inside, but you can see how this pecs and where this is coming and where the old barrel was.
And pecs is the white. Is the
Correct.
Okay.
Now, if you remember correctly, we were talking about color coding. Peck comes in different sizes as well as colors.
Fiberglass doesn't stick to that plastic. Somebody said fiberglass.
Fiberglass is, you have to really rough it up really good. It's going to be very labor intensive to do anything with fiberglass. If you're going to make it in fiberglass, make the whole damn thing out of fiberglass.
It still won't stick to it.
So that would be the way to go. The whole shooting match in fiberglass. ABC plus the white. So that's going to give you 4 colors. Do we have 4 sizes? Currently, we have 3 sizes. Back up again. You can go back to the tripod, I guess. Again, different sizes, making it idiot-proof, making it so that your labor is utilized properly and there's no thought involved. Keeping it as simple as possible. Color coding, labor. This red, blue, and white, and black are your 4 colors. We are only going to probably need 3 for our FLUPSY, because after that, they're going into half-inch mesh that we've got going on into the bag. As quickly as possible into the bay. Cost of labor. Here's where it gets, where the cost and the labor and all of the above.
Cost of pecs, 0.
Granted, Freddie found a bunch of pecks on the side of the road. Somebody was getting rid of it, spring cleaning. You know, keep your eye open for this stuff. We're always trying to reduce, reutilize them. We're always on the cheap. Man.
Tell them to look in front of the truck. If you look in front of the truck, guys,
recycle.
Way down here.
Right there.
There's a bunch of pecks Freddie saw on the side of the road. Perfect condition.
Yeah,
Free.
Enough to handle quite a few barrels.
So
now.
get it started. Good job, Fred.
Great.
We like that.
We're
Cost.
always looking at different stuff.
We like that
I've
cost.
been playing around with the plastic. What works good on plastic? Again, we've been playing catch up a lot.
And let me just jump in here for a minute. I went by the same location and saw that PEX. And this is what's the yin and the yang of things. I went by that same thing and saw that and thinking, oh, someone's getting rid of that stuff. Not thinking what I could use it for. 15 minutes later, Freddie pulls up in the back of his truck. He's got the whole shabam in the back of his truck. It's like, these guys are ingenious. It's one man's junk is another man's treasure.
Give me that deli cat in the back. I think deli cat should be our sponsor. I was playing around with these I got these deli cat things, like tons of them, right, for free. And it's like, because that's what the cats all drink. Well, yeah, you buy it. So I was messing around with the mesh on the bottom and cutting out the bottom. And it was kind of a pain, but they stacked and they were square. So again, you're constantly innovative. When I went down to the Home Depot plug, we set up a new screening system. This is awesome. It just sticks right into the mesh. Throw the seed in. You have something else, a big catch basin that you're catching, and you can really shake the crap out of this brand new babies and be able to seed them. Again, you got to keep them separated.
What's the cost of that bucket?
Oh, cheap.
Home Depot?
Home Depot. And hot glue gun. Hot glue gun is like the welding of welds for this stuff. Turn it up to the max, smear it on there.
$253 or something like that.
Is that what it is for the bucket?
Works good.
Cool.
The mesh is good. So again, we're able to do all three meshes.
You should be able to get them from across the street because they use a million of them over in the restaurant.
Yeah.
I'll talk to them.
5 gallon buckets.
Everything comes in that.
I'll ask them.
Yeah.
And that's another thing I like going to the 5 gallon buckets because again, now if we can set up our FLUPSY or not a FLUPSY, a mini FLUPSY or a smaller deal, the experiments that we're able to do when we have smaller seed is, I feel, very crucial.
I like in the 10-gallon buckets.
The ones that we saw over
those little ones?
The little keg. It's like a little keg.
Those would be awesome.
Which we saw at the same guy that we saw Ortiz at the barrels that we bought. He had littler barrels too.
10 gallon.
So if you can get it and standardize it to a 5 gallon bucket or to whatever, I think it's going to be better for everybody all the way around. So that's kind of what I've been working on. And again, playing catch up, getting the seed as small as possible. Oh, that's where I was going. I think is critical. That way you can control it. You can manipulate it. I hate to use that word manipulate, but you can groom it. I like that better. Grooming. That's a better word. Groom it the way you want it. And you can keep them separated so that way you can deal with the slow growers however you want to deal with that. That's kind of my philosophy. Turn them in and turn them out. But you want them nice and strong. There could be a possibility if you raise them so fast and they grow so fast so quickly that their shells become thinner and they don't shuck quite as nicely, where it will break. The shell will just break apart and the shuckers get pissed off because they got to go through 2 oysters to get one presentable oyster. Or they do a balancing act on the flat side, which is kind of cheap. But whatever. Maybe possibly, if you've been following our Instagram, we got the bubbler doing its thing. That's something that's fairly new and not a lot of, and we're going to keep that going and maybe expand that a little bit. If I was able to stream live, I'd probably be streaming live.
Oh, we can do that there. Once we get our 1,000 subscribers on YouTube. We can get out and show you the bubbler.
And we can stream and do a live screen through. So that's kind of where I'm at. All right, where are we at now? Icy Cole, cool man. Fred is a pro bargain hunter. Fred is a pro bargain hunter. Fred is the man when it comes to junk.
I like to say a resource seeker.
Resource seeker.
I think Freddie's a resource seeker.
Tofu salad dressing. Yeah. That would maybe if you used a tofu salad dressing, you would have like a vegan oyster. Are the oysters vegan? I don't think so. Jim Payton saying hello. The bubbler is cool. Wolfie's been checking out the Wolfler.
Is an oyster vegan?
Tony Joe's Googling it up.
What I found.
So I put on a new, I just planted a seed right now. Why do I have that? Oh, is that glare? Is that coming off? Who knows? All right. Randy Kelly from Trinidad, what's going on? Nice to see you. What's going on? I got nothing much else here. What was I talking about? Babies. Our babies are growing. I can't really tell you how much they've grown. I've only had one measurement of volume from when we did a measurement of volume, which was Monday of last week. I will be able to tell better Monday of what the volume is. I have not done a physical count of each one. You do a volume count. We went through this a long time ago. I had little ball bearings and whatnot and how we graduated them out. We put 100 milliliters. That's the next thing we're always looking towards. You know, the scientific beakers cost so much damn money and whatnot. So we're always looking at different stuff. But this is a metric. It's one cup on one side, and then it's metric on the other side. I put 100 milliliters of big ones, which is where my thumb is, in the bubbler. 100 milliliters of the big ones, the biggest ones we had that held on a 2 millimeter screen, and then 2 millimeter diagonal screen. I can get into all kinds of this. The other stuff was a 2 millimeter square screen. The diagonal screen's a little bit bigger. It actually measures out at 3 millimeter. I had to scavenge some of that from one of the old screens I found and whatever. 100 milliliters in each bubbler. Boom, boom. One of the medium, one of the smaller. I'll let you know on that. That was happened. An oyster is an animal, so consequently, it's not. That's what Alan C says. So it's not vegan.
Well, they depending upon
who the vegan this is.
Pescatarian.
What's that now? Oh, we're getting.
I'm not going to get into it. Yeah.
So is it or isn't it? Yes or no? I say no. What else you got? T, you got anything else?
Oysters may be animals, but even the strictest ethicists should feel comfortable eating them by the boatload. But some people call themselves.
They're good for you too.
Depends what you're doing, but no.
And they're good for your mental health, according to the New York Times. Did you hear about that? That's true. That's what they said. Fred, you got anything else? Got nothing else. Tony Joe, you got anything else?
Got everything on the list?
I got pretty much everything on the list. You know, we're constantly going over the labor thing and whatnot to be able to make this as I shouldn't say factory, but mechanical, keep it productive and provide jobs for people and do that the right thing. The more you raise, the better off the food chain is, the better off the filter of the water is, the better off of the ecology-wise. The more promotion for Long Island. I think some people might get a little bit concerned that you're going to flood the market with oysters. We've been learning that through marketing and whatnot, and this is your department.
Si, senor.
The marketing aspect, there is phenomenal amounts of marketing ways that we can market and places that we can market Long Island oysters in general.
Absolutely.
It's just a small little tip around here, but we can export them to all over. And this is kind of, yes, no?
Yeah.
You got anything you want to expand upon that?
We got to start before we run. And our permit right now allows us to, when we get product, to sell to a distributor. Wholesaler. And then from there, we can get different permits that allow us to go to a restaurant or premise and the end user direct. But right now, we have the permit for the wholesaler.
To go to a wholesaler.
A wholesaler. So that's, we're going to see what's what. Sorry, good question from Wolfie. How does the oxygen levels in the water affect the oysters?
The oxygen levels it is a good question, is effective of how well the algae bloom, which then also could be taking some oxygen out of it. So there has to be a balance of it for sure.
Salinity is more important.
Salinity is a definite factor in how your oysters taste too, as well. Fred's salinity, oxygen, but again, if there's too much of this brown tide algae in the water, it'll kill them. If there's a little bit, it might not be all bad. But there's always going to be some sort of algae that the oysters are eating, and that has to do with oxygen levels as well. So it's a fine balance. Does it matter? Yes, it matters.
Good morning, Willard. Glad you're joining in. Jim Payton, the gang, Alan C., Wolfie the gang. What are the questions we have here? Bubbler's cool. Yeah, once we get, and Randy from Trinidad, thanks for tuning in and joining us. We appreciate that. And Alan C., of course, darling, we're glad you're with us. Yeah, once we get up to that number, we can go off site and stream from, where Freddie and Bart are working.
Right.
We appreciate you.
So,
we appreciate your patience
So
this time.
please share us. Please share us as if you can with anybody and everybody that you know. Just get them up to subscribe if they need help. It's free to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Does not cost anything. We need a little help.
I got a random question. What do you guys think? What's the anticipation of the boat, the Wheezy getting in the water?
Wheezy getting in the water. We keep saying this week, but as well, we haven't been really getting 2 days in a row that are decent weather. We're still wearing sweatshirts, and it's May the 5th.
Yeah.
So it's been chilly. What's that?
Sponsor the can again.
Sponsor can. Yeah, sponsor. Thanks, Fred. Thank you. Netminder, our sponsors this week and next week, and an ongoing sponsor.
Yeah.
Netminder, really appreciate you guys.
Thank you, Alex, for coming on down last week.
Testing out your product, loving it. Check it out. Netminder. Link is in the bio. I got nothing more. Thanks for tuning in. Tony Joe, thanks for doing the deal. We got signing off from Freddie the Angry Bayman, Skipper T.
Yeah, that's cool. I can hear me. Have a great week, everybody.
And yours truly. I hope everybody has fun. I hope everybody is cool.
And
I hope everybody be kind.
Be cool. Be happy. And
eat me, guys. We'll see you next week.
Have a great week, everybody.
Boom.
This was that. That was what about it?